Amata ewe ndiyavuma isango limxinwa kodwa kunokuba ndixineke zingxaki ezixananazileyo. Ngcono ndoxuthe. Kwiindandatheko zomphefumlo ekuqhulwa ngazo mahlangulwe. Noko ndiligorha ezinintsi imfazwe zobubomi ndizilwile. Mandibizelwe kowakho umkhosi. Endlini kabawo zinintsi indawo zokuhlala. Kodwa phambi kokuba undithathe bawo, ingaba zikhona na indawo zabachumke inhliziyo?
This story I was trying to sort of take people through a journey of why don't they live. And so as you go through the story, you get to realize, the character that's being abused. You get to see their life journey and contrast, to the reality of, the reason this woman is not living because there's kids involved. The reason she's not living is that already she's been divorced. The reason she's not living, she doesn't have a job. Where does she go? And you sort of look at the sacrifices that now she has to make for the sake of the kids. And so you look at story number 1, unemployment. Even now we're still there. So I think I was sort of, looking at the world that we are in and sort of trying to make sense of it. I remember I had a conversation, I think 2019. I think I was with Howard. I was with Opiuma Sang, who works at 702, he's got a show there. And we're just having a conversation around storytelling and writing to say, as the storytellers of this day and age, what are some of the things that we should be writing about?
Yeah, so entrepreneurship and other things that tends to be quite glamorized in society, where it's always been preached that if you can't find a job, go be an entrepreneur. But the actual truth is not everyone can be that, and starting a business because you didn't see any opportunity or you didn't see any crisis in the market, but purely because you couldn't find a job, can sometimes then not work out for people like that. So it is something that people can consider, but you also wouldn't blame or attribute some kind of, okay, why don't you guys do this? Because sometimes people just don't have the insight, they don't have the inspiration, and they don't feel the need, opportunity, or crisis in the market to say, let me start something.
I'm coming from this family background where I'm seen as the Moses of the family, someone who is supposed to lift them out of poverty. And so now his life is dictated by the circumstance that he's coming from. So it becomes difficult to even think of entrepreneurship as a way out of this situation because he needs immediate results. That the struggle is to say, month end am I able to pay rent? Month end, can I send something back home? So I think for me, I'm very cautious in terms of telling people about the different things that they can do. Or sometimes there's immediate struggles that you're going through that now require you to show up financially and, not following passion and not thinking about other things to do. And I think some of us are privileged enough to say you are able to move around different areas because of where you're coming from. It's not as dire as the other people.
Do perpetrators really get away with things because the victims see them as a path to their belonging?
I guess you love this person, but maybe sometimes you love something because that's all you know, and then it's difficult to even consciously reflect on whether I'm with this person because this situation is ideal because that's all I know. So then it's difficult because you've never done that, and then it requires more mental muscles to do something like that, and which then is difficult for people to even do that kind of gymnastics in their mind.
We may not be able to eradicate all of them. Way easier said than done. The idea is to change the world of just the person next to you to make it a better and safer place. Any questions at all? We'll certainly appreciate those.
So within the context of how subjective privilege is, so what are some of the challenges that you are willing to share with everyone so that I don't sit here and be like, hey, one day I want to be like that guy in published book because hoping that maybe I'll drive a Mercedes-Benz or go on his complex.
I think there's certain privileges that are sort of innate that can't be explained, and some of these things you can't even explain, but then why are you resilient in this thing? But there's just something about you in these situations that makes you resilient as opposed to other people. And so I think privilege is a very tricky conversation to have also because there's things that you can see as privilege, but there's certain things that are privilege that can be seen. For example, look at story number 2. of the guy, the young man who was struggling throughout life. And through his struggle, that he found some coping mechanism, which was playing soccer. And through his resilience in playing soccer, he makes it in life. So his lack of privilege was his privilege. So it's very difficult to contrast between these two things. So yeah, it's difficult for me to answer your question. Because
My question is, since the book is being launched locally now, what do you want the biggest takeaway to be for local people who may be in situations where they're either unemployed or someone who is working just because of circumstances?
one must have chaos in oneself to give birth to a shining star. And it's the recognition that, when you're in the darkest of places, that gives you the opportunity to be bright. Because you only see stars when it's dark.
At any point, the president could just decide that you're no longer the minister of this, you will fall under this portfolio. So I'm just thinking and I'm wondering that at what point can you call yourself?
And I think there's certain things that you have to qualify yourself in this journey of life. I mean, you yourself, you're a poet. And at what point did you say, I'm a poet? So
Adding to what Tokelo does, I call him my dad because it's the way that we need to understand that as people who are exposed to writing and reading, we need to learn how to adopt other people. In a sense, when you go out, you fish out and you tell them of how we can do it. The same way that he did to me, I identified as a poet when I was in grade 7, but I fully identified as a poet when he gave me a platform to perform. Then in that way, I know he fished me out of that shell of being a poet. So now if we go out and then we identify the people and then we fish them and we give them the space to be able to practice and to be exposed to such kind of things, and that's way we can build the culture.
The book is available. Like I promised, I'll deduct R1 from the 299. The R1's on me. Please see Fortune over there by the desk. That's the copy of the book, going for $298. In fact, if you buy the book before 2 o'clock, which is in 2 minutes, my discount is over.
Poor Folks is a collection of short stories, and I think the overarching theme in the book, it speaks about the struggles of the common people, the day-to-day struggles with poverty and trying to make ends meet. And in the book, you meet different characters from different walks of life, all of them suffering from some ills that have to do with poverty. And through the book, I take people through a journey of understanding these characters, who they are, and essentially what their struggles are and their goals and motivations.